In communication with Southern California, KHJ-TV Public Affairs presents Teen Talk. The Los Angeles City Schools are providing English instruction for students who speak more than 40 different languages. Approximately 11% of the population now reports speaking a language other than English at home. The predominant language is Spanish.
English is the most spoken language in the world. 1 out of every 10 people speaks English. It has replaced French in the world of diplomacy and German in the field of science. But it is a different story for the immigrants crossing the borders into our land, and it's tough and unfamiliar adjustment for them. Most don't speak our language, and English must become their second language. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk we're going to discuss with our panel the problems they face as they leave that one country behind and take on the challenge of a new home. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk. Let's introduce ourselves and find out exactly who you are. Milagro?
My name is Milagro Cáceres. I'm 16 years old and I came from El Salvador.
My name is Misuk and I'm from Korea.
My name is Luis Martinez. I have 18 years old. I come from Mexico.
Mexico.
My name is Mero Mesaros. I'm from Lima, Peru, and I'm 17 years old.
Martha?
My name is Marta Bonilla, and I'm from El Salvador. I'm 17 years old.
I am Ana Karina Gonzalez. I am 18 years old. I am from Guatemala.
My name is Cesar Flores. I'm 16 years old and I am from El Salvador.
Okay.
My name is Evelyn Guevara. I'm 18 years old and I came from El Salvador.
Welcome to all of you and welcome to the United States, and it's nice to see you. I know you've been here for a couple of years for some of you, but it's still a new place. It's a new country with a whole new bunch of ideas. Has it been rough learning English for you? How's it been for you?
Well, not too much. I've been learning English in my country.
You were learning English in Peru?
Yeah.
For how long?
About 4 years, something like that. And then I went to a private academy to take a British English. So I'm learning both English at the same time.
You learned American English and British English?
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice.
Well, no, I forgot the British.
You
so
forgot it all,
don't ask
right?
me
Well, you didn't go to England, you came to America, so you got to remember American English.
Sure.
There's a difference. There is a difference. The King's
It's a big
English is a little different. How about you, me? How about you, me? Go ahead.
Yeah. I didn't have very much problem to learn English because I learned some basic grammars and I had some ideas about English, but I couldn't speak it. I understood some words, but I couldn't speak it myself. It was the hardest problem.
How many years have you been here now?
2 years.
And you're in English, you're taking ESL classes, and you're learning English all the time, right?
Yeah.
So you're improving your English all the time. Good, I can hear it. I can hear that you are. And what about you?
Well, yeah, it was hard for me because in El Salvador they teach English, but they only teach in 7th and 8th grade, but not too much, just a little bit. And I was in 8th graders when I came here.
You were in the 8th grade when you came here. How many years ago was that?
3 years ago.
3 years ago, and you started in the ESL program.
Right.
Has it been good in the ESL program for you?
Yeah, it's been good because I started learning the basic things, from the beginning. Because in El Salvador they teach us good morning, hello, and all that.
You need hello and you need good morning, and I hope they taught you girls' room and boys' room.
No, they don't teach that.
Those are important. They didn't teach you that?
No.
Oh.
Well, they don't teach us. No.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you? What about Anna?
I think the 2 first years I had a problem with my health and I couldn't go to the school. But
what was wrong? You were telling me you had allergies?
Allergy and asthma.
Asthma.
And today I feel better and I begin to speak more English and I like.
Well, that's wonderful, and I'm glad that you're feeling better, and you look lovely. You're a very lovely-looking young lady. This is one of the most charming and handsome panels I've ever seen. Luis, you've been here from Mexico for how many years now?
I have been for 2 years.
2 years. Is the homework tough for you?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little hard for me, but in Belmont we have some teachers what they teach before we start the class, so and they can help us. And some of the teachers they speak English, they speak Spanish, and we can ask them, and they can help us.
One of the concerns that I have about all of this is, are your parents, are your moms and dads who you're living with at home, are they learning English also, or are they holding back? How about for you?
My mother is learning English, but I mean, she doesn't go to school because a nice school, you know, for adult, because she doesn't have that much time. So sometimes when she gets home, I teach her what I know.
Really? That's very nice. How do you teach her? What do you say to her?
Well, you know, I teach her how to talk with somebody, you know, small sentences, because she won't understand me if I teach her the longer sentences. So she's getting a little bit of that. So.
Recently, we had a proposition on the November ballot to make English the primary language. It passed with a resounding majority. Panel, were you aware of Proposition 63 was the proposition, and how do you feel about it? Martha?
Well, I think it's good because that way people can learn English more, you know, interesting to learn. When that proposition that doesn't work, that people say, oh, it's all the books going to be in Spanish, so I don't have to worry. But now they have to worry, and, you know.
That's an interesting answer. How do you feel about it, Marianne?
In one point, it's good. I mean, because you have to do everything when you live in one country. But on the other side, there are a lot of students that came from another country that they need some help in their own language to learn another one.
We want to give the help, and you know, most of the teachers came out against Proposition 63. Yes, they felt that it was discriminatory and prejudicial. But I see that the two of you don't seem to think so. Me, do you have any point of view?
Yeah. In my mom's case, she's gonna have to take driver written test again.
Yes.
Because 4 years has been failed.
Okay, so she's going to repeat her driver's test to renew her license.
If she's not going to be able to take it in Korea, she doesn't read or understand any English, so she's going to have a lot of problem there. You know, she might not pass the test. That means she's not going to have driver license again.
Yes.
So it'll be a little bit okay for Spanish speakers, because there are a lot of helpers around them. But it'll be really hard for Korean, or the other country.
Yes. Well, this is part of the problem. You want to say something?
Oh, well.
Do you think it's a good idea that we have a Proposition 63?
Yes, in one way it is, because the people get more interested in learning English, you know. Because if it were, if there wasn't that proposition, the people wouldn't be interested in learning English, you know. But now they can get more interested in learning it.
There's one point of view that says that, you know, they call these people purists, and there are people that live in France who are purists and say that if you're coming to France and you want to live in France, you should be able to speak and read and write French. If you come to Japan and you want to live in Japan, you should be able to read and write and speak Japanese. Well, there are people now in America who say that if you want to come and stay in America and live here, you should read and write and speak English. What do you say to those people? Cesar, do you have any thoughts?
I think it's good because, you know, if you are in your country, as example of mine, if I'm Salvador and I can get a visa for a student now, so I say I can speak and I can read English.
So you can speak and read English, and you feel that it's a good idea. How do you feel, Anna?
I feel that it's good idea because help to the Latin people to learn English, and it's the best way to speak and communicate with the American people.
Okay. What's been the hardest part of English for you? What's been the hardest thing for you to learn? Marion, any problems in learning English at all? Everything, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, when I started ESL 2, and I have 2 years here in this country, and I finished the ESL program in 1 year and a half.
Yes.
So now, for example, in mathematics, on the reading problems, I have some troubles on it.
You have problems in mathematics?
No, in mathematics.
Oh.
I can do operations.
Oh, I see. Because numbers are numbers
Yeah.
are numbers everywhere in the world.
country.
That's the
But the
easy
reading
part.
part-
Maybe you have a different technique to do it, division, something like that. But in the reading problems, that's the
reading
trouble.
problems. I see. And what about for you, Me?
Yeah. The American expressions, the expressions they use on, like American use their own kind of
Well,
slangs.
yeah,
or
they're called idioms.
idioms.
Yeah, a lot of idiots. No. Use those. No, but things like catch a train, or
Raining cats.
what's that?
Raining cat or something
It's
like
raining. Yes, it's raining dogs and
Something
cats.
like that.
Right,
You know,
raining
when they
cats and
say,
dogs.
they're
Right.
doing
When you're looking
something.
up and wondering where are those cats and dogs?
You're like
You know.
that. When they say, hold your horse or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Where's the horse?
Where's
Where-
the horse?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do
It's
those
interesting.
expressions throw you? Do they get to you? Do you get upset with them, or what do you do when you
Oh
hear them?
no, I just get surprised, we say, what horses? I don't have any horses. I don't see any horses around me.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I said, I don't understand what you mean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What else is difficult, Martha? What else is difficult
to
for you?
speak is the most hard part, to speak because you can understand, but it's hard to speak. That's the whole
Really?
hard. For
Is
me,
it
it's
is it hardest in school? Is that where you mean, or?
No, it's hard in all parts, because you have to go one place and you have to speak, and you cannot put one sentence together. You have a lot of ideas, so
I mean,
Have you guys run into any emergencies where you've wanted to say something? And
Yes.
Give me a for instance.
Well, I don't remember one of that, but I have one of the.
You faced that. There's been
Yeah,
a time when you.
When
Evelyn, have you had that kind of time?
No, I
no?
don't.
Not when you try to get to communicate something and you couldn't say it in
Yeah,
English?
sometimes I get stuck and I go, what? Yeah.
And you start speaking Spanish?
Well, not exactly. I just can't get my word out.
You can't get your words out. And what do you feel when you can't get your words out?
Frustrated,
Terrible.
Really? What goes on inside of you?
embarrassed.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
embarrassed and
Yeah.
no, not to cry exactly, but I get all nervous. and
Frustrated.
yeah, I get
What's that?
frustrated.
You get angry with yourself. I mean, that happened with me when I just came. There was a guy, and he asked me where I was from, and he said, "Are you from the jungle?" I said, "No, Peruvian in 3 parts." And I couldn't say Indians or something like that, so I started to do. He couldn't
Like the
understand me.
English
That
way.
was so terrible. But finally, we talk each other and we can understand it.
Mark Twain said, "In Paris, they simply stared when I spoke to them in French. I never did succeed in making those idiots understand their own language." Do you ever feel left out or several steps behind because of your language limitations? Do you ever feel like you just don't belong there? Louis, how do you feel?
Well, the first time when I come here, I was so bad because I couldn't speak English, and then I went to Belmont High to study, and I studied so hard, and then after school, I went to take a class at the same school, at night school, and I had some friends. What they are American guys, and I call and when I call and explain some of the thing in English. So was so hard for me, and they ignore you.
Yeah. Yeah, do you
It
sometimes
feels
wish
bad.
that your teenage friends, that some of these teenagers around understood you a little bit better? Do they understand you all right? Do they follow what you're thinking? Martha?
Sometimes not always, because sometimes they have their own opinion and we have our own opinion, right?
Yeah.
So they sometimes get fired with us, and with me, I don't understand with my friends, because we are fighting each other. I say this and she says another. Sometimes she doesn't understand.
I see. Yeah, me?
I think it's impossible for them to understand us, completely, but
Well, you come from a different culture where things are done differently and attitudes are different.
yeah, like in Korea, we cannot sit like this before teachers. It's impolite. We have to sit like this and kind of like straight.
Very straight up.
Yeah. If I go like this, it's kind of,
That's
conceited.
disrespectful. That's
Yeah.
conceited.
And you hear, students were very free before teachers, and a lot of
I noticed
things
it
were
didn't
different.
take you long to cross your leg, though, to learn how to cross your leg.
Comfortable.
That's comfortable. That's right. That's what it's called. It's called comfortable.
And they don't understand because they don't have any same problems like us. They speak English, so they are living in America. It's their own language. So
Do you think
I don't-
sometimes they take things for granted, too much for granted? They take this school and they take learning and they take education for granted? Do you think so, Milagro?
Well, I don't exactly understand what
I mean
you-
that they don't take it seriously. American children sometimes don't take their education seriously.
Oh yes, sometimes they don't, but because they think it's not that important. But I think for me it is very important, because when you left 1 year behind and then you have to repeat again, you feel so bad, because that happens to me. So that's why I'm saying it.
Have you failed some classes?
Yes, I have. So that's why I'm saying it, because I feel so bad, because now I could be in a higher grade, So, but because of that, I'm still in the same grade.
Okay, but how do you comfort yourself? How do you make yourself feel okay even though you're doing badly at times in class?
Oh well, by studying harder.
Yes.
When I don't understand something, I ask the teachers.
Good.
So they explain to me.
Good.
That's how I get.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
I think the problem sometimes is in here the students, they have a lot of freedom to choose their classes, and sometimes they choose more arts and music than solid courses.
Yes. They're looking for the easy way out.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because
For
that way
example,
they
in
can
Peru
get-
you can do that.
No?
You take the whole year 14 courses, 14, even religion, because Peru is a Catholic country, and you have to pass all of them, and they are solid. All
I
of
see.
them are solid.
Are you allowed to cross your legs in Peru?
Sure.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are very similar to here. The only thing is we use uniforms. We don't go with, and we can use makeup. And what else?
Do you have to stand when you talk?
Yeah, no. When
No.
the teachers come in, we stand up, say good morning.
That's a
and
good
whatever.
idea. I like that
That's
idea.
very respectful.
Yes. I'm going to have my students stand the whole hour tomorrow. Yeah. I'll let them stand up. Why not? Yes.
When the teacher leaves, we stand up again, say goodbye or whatever. And that's a good way. I mean,
What do you mutter under your breath? What do you say? No, never mind. Never mind. No, I meant what are you saying quietly as the teacher is leaving? What terrible things are you saying? When I travel, I take a dictionary with me wherever I go, and I've got a list of all the words and the expressions in France when I visit Paris, or Italian when I go to visit Rome or Venice. Do you carry a dictionary around? Do you have, Anna?
Sometimes I bring my dictionary with me because sometimes I need it because I don't know the word, and I think it's very important. And it's the same for Americans and Koreans and Chinese people.
Yes, very much so.
I don't think
Yeah.
carrying a dictionary is not a very good idea
It isn't?
because
They're big.
I know if you feel if you feel frustrating, with the words,
Oh.
you can just let it go and just if you go home and just think about it and you hear that again, you can kind of get an idea. If you hear from a lot of places, there are some common things. The words was said, so you can just feel it. And after you hear that a lot of times, and you get used to it, and you look at the dictionary, and you won't forget the words forever.
The young people we spoke with today are motivated and enthusiastic about learning English. It's always been an American tradition to open our arms and make other people from all lands feel welcome and comfortable. We do that with our encouragement, help, support, and patience. I hope we will continue to provide support to the ESL programs around the nation. Our strength has always come from diversity and the new people from faraway places that come to declare their new allegiance to our great country. Panel, you have just been terrific in lending support and understanding all about English as a second language. There's a wonderful book, The Education of Hyman Kaplan, terrific book, lots of good ideas. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein saying hasta luego, hasta la vista, shalom, adios, we'll see you soon.